Hello, gorgeous. I'm the Fairy Voice Mother. Thank you for being born and for being here today. I'm finally getting through the list. It's got over 1,000 songs on it, but this is one of those 1,000 songs. I do recognise this band named Journey because I think they did that really famous song, Don't Stop Believing, that was ultimately usurped by that Glee Club show, and that is the only version I know. If you've never been here before, then welcome. This is me petting you on the nose. I'm a vocal coach and vocal science person, and I can tell you about how your voice works, how to use it, and other stuff about music. And while hearing this song now for the first time, I intend to analyse it on the fly in hopefully a fun way. It's a square music video, I like those. Let's go down a bit, I'm yelling. Oh, Journey on a Journey. Look at that. Okay,
highway run into the midnight sun. Wheels go round and round on my mind. Restless hearts sleep alone tonight, sending all my love along the wire. They say that the road ain't no place to start a family.
Wow.
Right down the line, it's been you and me, and love and amusement.
I don't know why that facial expression made me laugh. Sorry. It looks like a poetic blend of lamentation, rage, and boredom. Let's talk about the music because it's really bloody good. The singing is absolutely wonderful, so wonderful that I'm going to get too excited and carried away if I address it first. I'm going to talk about something else. They've done an exquisite job at creating suspense and release, just musically, even without his beautiful voice over the top. So we've got this lovely repetitive piano motif that gives the song a lot of identity straight away, which goes something like... Excuse my lack of pedal, it's going to sound like and it sort of has this very consistent rhythm as it works through those different chords with that same da, 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 thing over the top. But then, because it was such a cyclical sort of predictable pattern, all very plonky and sort of hypnotic.
Highway run into the midnight sun.
When that stops, it really feels like a lift.
Wheels go round and round.
And then it pauses.
My mind.
And then we go back in. And so in that moment of musical suspense, we also have, in the vocal melody, wheels go round and round, a sixth. And the characteristic of the sixth note in the scale, so we go from 1 to 8, the sixth one is a little bit pensive because the fifth one feels like home. And so when we've got that sixth one, it's like a bit of a, ooh, this is a bit of a lift. Oh, I feel a little bit floaty. And then we come back down home. And so because we have both of those factors, both creating that little bit of tense pensiveness, we know that that was on purpose. That was very cool. They've done a really fabulous job at keeping this song interesting, giving it rise and fall, but without it needing to be like super weird or anything. We're still very much focused on the message of the lyrics and the vocal performance. And I'm going to talk about that now because, I love this tone of voice so much. I do. I really do. I think this tone of voice is like the perfect blend between strength and air. So what I mean by that, there are moments where we feel very grounded by his voice, his vocal folds close completely, and we get this sort of thing.
Sleep alone tonight.
Sleep alone tonight. Especially that little pitch bend that we hear him do under the sleep. It helps the voice stay grounded and it brings up a really nice warm tone. So it's a good strategy to employ. That's nice and connected, there's no air there. But when we get to his higher notes, the tone is really different.
Sending all my love.
Sending all my love. It opens up and it gets this little bit of compression on it, which is this kind of sound effect that you're hearing. In order to find compression in your own voice, all you need to do is just imagining you're lifting something very heavy and it's difficult. And that sort of sound, find it, and then just soften it off a little bit. And you'll sound like this. And then you can apply it to singing, and you're going to get this kind of slightly distorted vocal effect. And it's fun. Along the wire. See, I'm not consciously adding distortion there, like, there's no like supraglottic distortion over that. But because of that little bit of compression that's happening naturally, because that's the thing we're focusing on, the tissues will start to do a little bit of swaying in the breeze because you've made the environment conducive to that happening. So this is the best advice I could possibly give you if you do want to add distortion to your voice, just focus on getting a compression that feels healthy, and everything is just naturally born from there. It's frustrating, but trust me, it works. Now this line is deceptively hard to sing.
They say that the road ain't no place to start a family.
If you've ever tried to sing a line of this nature, higher notes that are all the same note, while the words change, you'll know what I mean. It's one of the hardest things to do in singing. They say that the road ain't no place to start a family. And it's hard because it's like patting your head and rubbing your belly, or vice versa, at the same time. Because you need to make sure that the voice is vibrating the exact amount of times per second required to hit that note. And then while that's doing that thing, your words need to change. And it can actually be easier in the brain if the notes change with the words. Physiologically speaking, it can also take a toll on the vocal folds as well, because you've got to keep that subglottal pressure, that pressure underneath the vocal folds, very, very consistent while it's on that high note, and it's got to hold. It doesn't have any break. It can't just speed up for a second or slack for a second. And that is really difficult to control without the voice breaking or fluctuating in pitch. But luckily, we can use some very cheeky strategies to help us through without anyone suspecting a thing. Well, we suspected it, but just don't tell anyone. It's a secret. Plosives. Like the plosive that he uses on place. Notice how he sings place with quite a small type b, as opposed to a big kind of wet, for want of a better word, p. Place. That would be a huge disruption of the airflow down here in the vocal fold subglottal pressure area. And that's what we really want to avoid. And we can avoid that as long as we keep those plosives nice and controlled and we don't, Same with the Fs. If we do family with a big fa at the front, wasting a lot of air, bad. But if we do a nice tight upper teeth to bottom lip connection, family, we can get away with it.
And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling.
Vocal analysis. Sorry, but that is comical. It probably wasn't at the time. But I think we've seen too many memes. We are memeified, and now we can't take things seriously.
Love and a music man ain't always what it's supposed to be. Oh, girl, you stand by me. I'm forever yours.
Wow, his voice is so beautiful.
Faithfully.
It's very bold.
Circus life.
Don't you hear that little bit of rough?
We all need the clowns to make us smile.
They kind of did him dirty there. We all need the clowns. And it's just him like. It was lovely just to see the singer there. I like to see people's mouths. In general, actually, I find it interesting. But specifically when I'm listening to them sing, I like to see what their mouth is doing because everything starts to make sense. He moves his mouth a lot. It goes very far back just from that tiny little clip that we've seen. Having space in your mouth, as you can imagine, that's when sound comes out. It's a massive, massive deal. The bigger you can make your mouth as a singer, the better. Funnily enough, I actually recently stumbled across some fascinating research by an orthodontist who discovered that you can actually change the shape of your mouth until you're like 72. So you can do this and this just for a couple of minutes every day for a few weeks, and you will change the structure of your face. You will have more room for your tongue and your voice will sound more resonant. That's crazy, isn't it? Shameless plug for my course. If you would like to learn how to transform your voice and make it sparkly and gorgeous and more beautiful than it already is, then you can get my course if you want. I will teach you all kinds of cool stuff, and it's coming soon. So wow! Oh my goodness. Aww. This is so lovely. Aww. What the f***? That's no. We're not gonna breeze past that one. What? I was going to talk more about the song because the song is unbelievably epic. It is the most incredibly perfect power ballad I could imagine. Like, it's got everything. I'm going to talk about motifs in a second. That sounded like it slipped out so casually to the point where it just doesn't make sense. So that was a C-sharp 5. If you're into all of that note stuff, knowing what notes stuff is. For context, that is the same note as all by myself. The top one was so balanced and perfect. Grab a blankie, get cozy. We need to talk about this. So the reason it was so perfect sounding and strainless is the way that he went up to it was completely controlled in terms of the vowel was narrow. Because he doesn't go, I'm still yeah, flailing around randomly. He goes, I'm still your. After he's done that yeah, he widens to come down because it's safe. Because it's lower, and he's then continuing like a downwards melodic pattern anyway. The other way around doesn't work. If you go, I'm still young, there's a lot of pressure in there that you've created from going so wide and so like choked up from all of this squeezy wideness so soon, and then you have to sort of shape it back in. It just, your vocal tract doesn't work like that. Because when I say wide, you must understand, this throwaway type of wideness, actually squeezes the vocal tract like a little pinchy hose. Just because it looks wide here, it doesn't mean it's wide in here. It's quite the opposite. There are ways of going wide in the mouth and keeping the vocal tract open, but you have to keep it sort of narrow-y, like when he does, yeah. Yeah! You see, I've got space. It's not narrow like, yeah, but it's not wide like, yeah! And that's the difference. The other reason it's so impressive is because it really requires a lot of mental discipline. We are imagining this note as big and strong, so it doesn't feel right to keep it contained here. you know, you're going to be tempted, especially with all the passion and emotion of the song. You want to go for it and you want to, so it requires a lot of discipline. It's also way more impressive when he does it as opposed to when I do it, because his voice is larger, and he is also slightly transitioning registers when he goes up from that yeah down to the note. You can hear it slightly a thinner quality on the top yeah, and then it sort of adds mass as he comes down to the And that's really impressive. That requires even more sort of mental and physical gymnastics to try and make sure that that happens without a big old clunk. So yeah, that's knocked me off my socks. Knocked my socks off. Knocked me off. It's knocked me. It's knocked me. Oh yeah, the motif thing, just before we continue. This piano thing we had is now everywhere. It's in a whoa in the vocals. It's also an octave up in that electric guitar riff. It's everywhere, and it's really just bringing everything together. We've got no more pauses the way that we had at the beginning, so now the wheels are turning. We're just so in. This riff is carrying us so gracefully through the song with his soaring ad-libs over the top. It is quite a euphoric feeling to listen to this song. And I'm feeling rather deprived that I'm only hearing it now, actually. That's amazing. I love those swelly synths in the background. Oh, wow. 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 I was actually about to sneeze, and even though I didn't, I was still blessed. It went up again. That was a D sharp 5 now, and even though it wasn't as sustained, it was real, and it was connected to strength. It wasn't forever yours. Oh, I am sneezing. It wasn't that at all, was it? It had a lot more strength. And that was because he's still got mass in his voice. He hasn't needed to stretch his vocal folds out so thin to get that. This is one of the best voices I've ever heard because of his ability to control the upper register like that without it pinging off, but without it sounding forced and strained. Because the position that he's managed to find in his voice where it's not so close, so there's an extreme amount of resonance, but it's not so thin that it sounds like he's been smoking too much. It's just perfect. It's so incredibly satisfying to hear him sing. Listening to him sustain those notes is a really exciting, thrilling experience that I feel very lucky to have had. Nothing about this screams unsafe per se, but because of the amount of pressure and very fast vibration of his vocal folds, he would have to do a lot of vocal care, a lot of warming up and all of that stuff, especially if he's doing this on tour a lot, as he probably is, because the meaning of the song implies that he's on tour a lot. I would really love to listen to more of this if you've got any suggestions. Specifically, I'd love to check out a live performance with you to see all of those mouth shapes. We can go so nerdy. We can try and like look inside his mouth and see his tongue shape and like calculate his vowels, and that sounds like a good time to me. Anyway, maybe it does to you, I don't know. So yeah, thank you so much for being here anyway. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. My message for you today, as I still haven't found my oracle cards and I'm inspired by the fact that it's so stormy outside, is I've been feeling stormy on the inside recently, and I just cannot help but notice that correlation. If you ever feel like you're being dramatic, or you feel like there's big old nasty ugly storms inside, perhaps you're not crazy, perhaps you're sensitive, perhaps you're feeling the weight of the world, the effect of the weather. So please trust yourself, honour your body and your spirit, and when you're going through something that's difficult, don't gaslight yourself. Allow yourself to feel these feelings, accept that they will pass, and that you're part of something much bigger. You are magic from the universe. Right now, it happens to be personified. And this magic was here before you. It is now living through you, and it will still be there after you. There are so many things in life that defy logical explanation. Sometimes they don't have one. Sometimes the best explanation is your instinct. So yeah, love you bunches. Have an absolutely magical day. If you want to check the description of this videos for other corners of the internet that I occupy, I'd be super grateful. Giant hug for anyone watching this video at any time. I'll see you again soon. Bye! Journey, I think, is the same band, are the same band. Let me turn my piano on. Not in that way. Oh, I need a wee, hang on.